Good morning from the floor in my mother-in-law's or my in-laws' living room. I come complete with a dog because the second I sat down, lo and behold, look who showed up. Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Oh my word, trying to get myself situated here. My computer is not plugged in, so we're going to see how quickly live streaming without my computer being plugged in drains the battery. I just wanted to hop on, look at these baby hairs. Look at these baby hairs. My gosh. Does anybody else have this? Like, it doesn't matter how long you I feel like these don't grow. Like, they're always baby hairs, even though, like, it's not like I've cut them this short ever in my life, but like, I always have these stupid short hairs right here in the front. And I don't know why. Um, Anyway, I wanted to start because I know that we talked about, yeah, I got it. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? Huh? Huh? Um, I know that we talked about potentially doing like daily morning live streams during the week while I'm in Florida, specifically during Advent. Advent has not yet started. So I'm still definitely interested in doing that, but I wanted to just be able to hop on. Sorry, I'm going to have to play with Gracie until she gets hungry because apparently that's what I'm doing. I wanted to hop on and actually just kind of get into the groove, get into the routine. We've been here since Sunday. Sunday night is when we arrived. I spent my 35th birthday on the road, which was fine. I went to Starbucks and I got myself a peppermint mocha. I got it with like no sugar free because skinny peppermint mocha doesn't actually exist anymore. But I'm not actually mad about it because if you think about it, when you do the skinny syrups and everything, it's literally just a bunch of fake chemicals. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad that I have to get the full sugar version of this particular beverage. And then I got it as non-fat and no whip. And it's interesting because some people are like, well, why are you doing non-fat, no whip when you're like, I don't do fat-free, cheese or whatever. And it's personal preference. I literally am like, I gain nothing from whole milk being in my coffee when it's like a beverage like that. Like I grew up on non-fat milk, so I'm good with non-fat milk and I don't like whipped cream. Am I the weirdo here? I do not like whipped cream. There is a very specific bakery where I grew up whose whipped cream I do tolerate. And then Baker's Square French silk pie whipped cream I also tolerate, but there's something special about that it's different. It's not just plain old whipped cream. And then the cake that I make for Christmas also has whipped cream in it, homemade whipped cream. And the only reason I know that I like it is because it seeps into the Nilla wafers and takes all of the sugar and everything from the Nilla wafers and gets Nilla wafer flavored, right? Other than that, like I don't like whipped cream. If you give me a piece of cake, one of my favorite foods, with whipped cream on it, odds are I won't eat it. Like, I'm just like, "This is not worth it to me." I don't like whipped cream. It's a weird thing, but, like, people I mean, after the video I uploaded yesterday, I was gonna say people are very, what's the word I'm looking for? People are very easily offended by other people's opinions, which I just think is so interesting, and that was another thing. They're like, "But why did you do non-fat, no whip if you did full sugar?" Like, pick and choose your ingredients, yo. It's very, very interesting. It's very interesting. So, I just thought we'd hang out, we'd chat a little bit. What would you like to chat about, friends that are here? A couple things that I want to chat about is if anybody had any questions about the video I uploaded yesterday, which, by the way, not at all surprising, but it's also infuriating that like I knew this was going to be a heavy hitter on my channel, and I'm annoyed that it's a heavy hitter on my channel because all of the other content that I have been uploading has been not WW related. And the second I put up a WW related video, the views skyrocket. And I'm like, why can't y'all watch my nutritionally sound content too? Um, so I'm having very, very mixed emotions about the response to the video. The comment section is a whole different story, but those are people's opinions, so it doesn't really matter to me what they think. Because it's interesting because, like I said, people get so offended. Good morning, Kathy. Good to see you. People get so offended by my opinion. My opinion. Opinions are not facts. Like, and I even say in this video, for those of you that missed it, I posted a video about me trying out the new Weight Watchers personal points plan, which I think is funny because now they can go back to using PP, which is Points Plus, which is the plan I actually really enjoyed. Um, and people, for every negative opinion, I have like 4 positive ones, which is or comments that so like that's great. Um, oh, Amberly, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea, especially when it comes to my next cut. Oh, I'm totally gonna do that. I'm gonna need you to remind me when I start my cut in January. Be like, "P.S. Put this label on on your videos," because I plan on sharing my weight loss journey when I start my cut again. Oh, which was my favorite comment. My favorite comment. I had two. My favorite comment on yesterday's video was not a kind comment, but my favorite part of it was her saying that you preach this, I'm paraphrasing, but like you preach this new way of eating and nutrition and losing weight, and yet it's clearly not working for you. I'm like, did you forget I'm not actually trying to lose weight right now? Like, if you're active on my channel, you know that. You know that for the almost entirety of this year, save 17 weeks, 17 out of 52 weeks, I tried to lose weight and found out that I couldn't. Like it wasn't working. The calorie number that should be working wasn't working. Um, Only those 17 weeks was the only time I was trying. And then I stopped trying. I started doing maintenance and reverse dieting and everything. And they're like, it was just funny to me. Like, clearly it's not working. I'm like, did you forget I'm not trying? Interesting. Um, so that was my first favorite comment, and then my second favorite comment talked about them being claustrophobic and asking if I ever left the house. And I'm like, I literally started the video in Minnesota and ended the video in Florida. I not only left the house, but I traveled like almost 2,000 miles. So yeah, I leave the house. It was just very interesting. It was very interesting, and it could be in regards to the last clip that I filmed. I was in our bedroom here, which is still in a state of disarray, and I was trying to save you guys from the state of disarray. So I made sure the camera was focused solely on me and not expanded. It cracks me up. It cracks me up. Oh, and then the same person who talked about like clearly this plan isn't working for you also talked about how she doesn't like my attitude. And my simple response was, I don't see my attitude changing anytime soon. Like I'm 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 not quite sure I understand. I'm not quite sure I understand. So it's been a very interesting, not quite 24 hours. Since that video was uploaded, I'm having very mixed feelings, and but that's okay. That's part of the job, right? No big deal. So there's that. I have something very exciting happening today that I cannot talk about until later, but get your hearts ready. It's very exciting. Um, and then I've been loving reading the comments in that video. I know. Me too. Me too. People are butthurt about it, which is funny. And then there are other people that are like, this is thank you for doing this. This opinion is very valuable to me. And that's what matters. Like what I explicitly said was if this plan works for you, great. More power to you. Nowhere in it did I say, don't do this. I said, I will not coach people who are doing it, which is different than don't do it. Just don't try and hire me if you want to do Weight Watchers, because I'm not going to do that. But that is a personal and business choice. That is a personal and business choice. If you weren't going to have me as your coach to begin with, then what does it matter? What does it matter? It doesn't. It doesn't matter. But I explicitly say if you can do it and it works for you, great. But the big focus of this video for me was like I pulled it off. I succeeded in the experiment, guys. The whole point of the video was, can I do Weight Watchers for a day and stick to what will be macros and calories very similar to what I'm going to be eating when I'm in fat loss mode. And I calculated my macros like I would calculate my macros for anybody else. And I can guarantee they're going to be very close, if not exact, to what I'm going to be following. Kim, good morning. And my goal was to be like, can I pull off a day on Weight Watchers without completely trashing the points? And hit these macros? And the answer was, yeah, I could do it. But, yes, but, um, I'm convinced the only reason I pulled it off is because I was double tracking. Because I was double tracking. And I ended up in a conversation. This started some great conversations. Somebody DM'd me yesterday on Instagram and asked me about, how do you feel about this as a 0 point food, which I thought was interesting because I'm like, I'm not a Weight Watchers person anymore, but that's okay. I still gave my honest opinion. I'm like, yeah, I think that counts, no big deal. And then I, just suggested make sure you watch how many calories you're eating so you're not overeating or undereating. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm double tracking, blah, blah, blah. And I can't remember exactly how many calories she said, but ultimately she mentioned, I've been doing stuff like this for a while, and I think I might need to reverse diet because it doesn't seem to be working. And so after a brief exchange back and forth, I asked her to tell me what her BMR was. I sent her the BMR calculator. Turns out that her calorie goal, which admittedly was higher, I think she was shooting for 1500 or 1400. So it was higher than the 12. Do not start squeaking that. Do not start squeaking that. That better not have a squeaker. Ugh. Does it have a squeaker? No. Okay. Knock your socks off. It was, she's like, I'm doing more than the required, or no, that was another person who said required minimum of 1200. But she's like, I'm eating above what I normally would be eating. And I said, that's great, but what's your BMR? And it turns out that her current goal, which was higher than she expected, than she originally planned, was still 200 calories under her BMR. And I was like, you're under eating. And if you've been doing it for a long time, that's why you're not losing weight. And so it just gave her a lot to think about, you know? Um, no, I'm not in Minnesota. I am in South Florida. We left on Friday and we hung out in Illinois for a night. My grandparents threw me a birthday party. It was a great time. And then we moseyed our way on down to South Florida, where we are going to be until the week of Christmas. So it was just, the whole experience was really interesting. But for me, like, I pulled off the experiment. That was not the issue. I managed to use, as you saw, of my 20 daily points, I managed to use 25, which was fine because I earned the 5 points back. Um, and because of that, I ended my day using up all of my dailies, including what I earned, and I hit my protein macro, but I was still 200 calories under my my calorie goal. I was at 1500 calories, which put me under my BMR too, which is not where you want to be. That's not where you want to be. So the awareness of double tracking, so I knew where I was and going, oh, I still need to eat food, because a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm out of dailies, let's stop. And you would have been under eating. And for everybody, the numbers are different based on your age, sex, weight, etc. But for me, and those numbers, I would have been under eating that day. And so I'm like, okay, great. We're going to have my 180 calories worth of chocolate. And it cost me 10 points, which was half of my day's worth of points. I was just like, and that's the part. I'm like, I felt so, which is what I said in the video. I felt so condemned. I felt so judged for having like under 350 calories worth of sweet treats that day, that I'm like, the mental state of that, like, I understand that there are people that need to make the healthier choices and everything, but like, I'm a firm believer in like 80/20. Like, make most of your choices very nutritious ones, whole foods, whole grains, lots of good lean protein and all that stuff. But also, I'm team eat dessert every day, you know? And I felt, what's the right word here? Judged, condemned. Like, it was bad for me to have a couple hundred calories worth of sweet, and most of it was clean too. It was clean chocolate. It was good chocolate. Ingredients that are better than the ingredients in this shake, to be quite honest with you. She says as she continues to drink it. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It was just very, very interesting. So I know there are people who also think your opinion is irrelevant because you didn't stick to the plan long enough to actually see if it works. Yeah. And here's the thing. It will work. It will work. I think that there are a couple of things that aren't quite there yet. I think nutritional research has debunked that saturated fats are bad for you. It has been debunked. Coconut oil is one of the healthiest fats out there. And it is still condemned because it is a saturated fat, even though it is a good for you fat. And yet canola oil, which is awful for you because it is not a saturated fat, is marked as healthier. the better, the healthier option when it's terrible for you. So there's a lot that still needs to happen in terms of their nutritional research. And maybe they relaunch a plan every single year. So maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, it will catch up with nutritional science as it is now. And which is what I said in the video. It's not perfect. It's getting there, but the plan's not ready yet. It's not nutritionally sound yet. But it's getting there. And it felt a lot like Weight Watchers Freestyle for me. It did. And it's interesting because I felt a lot more secure trying it this time. That I hated Weight Watchers Freestyle. You guys know that because I overate on it. But again, I started double tracking, was able to keep my eye on things. And then at the end of the day, if I'm double tracking and my goal is to actually see if I can make the plan hit the calories and macros, just go stay with calories and macros because that's the goal to begin with, right? But it's the response I had to that comment about you didn't try it for long enough is kind of this is the analogy that I used. It's kind of like giving that toxic person in your life one more chance. It's that person like is bad for you, makes you feel negative, and just brings down the vibe of Jordan. Good morning, happy Wednesday. It brings down just the whole vibe of your attitude, your mood, everything, right? That toxic person. But because you're a good person, you're like, I'm going to give that toxic person one more chance, and you invite them out to dinner. And then 20 minutes into the conversation, you're like, this was a mistake. This person is still obviously very, very toxic to me. And this relationship still needs to be at a distance. It's like that. It's like that. Do you give yourself a month or 6 weeks or 2 months to see if that toxic person who has never changed before is actually going to change? No, you don't. You go, I tried, but actually this isn't right for me. And you go back to the people that raise your vibration, right? You don't stay with that toxic person. That's the analogy I used for that. Like when you know, kind of thing. I have no doubt that it will. This plan works for many. I have no doubt that it will work for new people. I also have no doubt that many people will end up under eating and many people will eat below their BMR. And if they continue to do that for more than 20 weeks, it will start to cause their metabolism to adapt. And then they will struggle with maintenance after they hit goal. Plain and simple. And unless this has changed, and I don't think it has, the appropriate maintenance education from them doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. So there's that. And let's be honest. I'm not the only, like, I used to be pro Weight Watchers. You guys know this. This is why you're all here, is because I had a Weight Watchers channel, right? My coach used to work for Weight Watchers up until recently, like within the last year, I think. She saw my video, she shared it on Instagram, and she's like, this is what it's about. Like, you 100% nailed it. Thank you for, like, the more you know, right? So that's that. Da, 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 da. Haven't you always said that the best plan for you is the one that you can actually stick to? And clearly the mental aspect of the plan makes it unsustainable for you. Exactly. And that was just it. I felt restricted. Someone else might feel completely empowered, which is great. But the second you told me that, like, something that's been working for me, in terms of like having that sweet treat every day and feeling guilt free about it, um, has been a game changer. It's been easy for me to be like, you know what? I'm not feeling like insert food here. It has been the thing that has caused me um, to be able to pass on dessert if I'm just not feeling it, And that immediately I felt that tightness, that guilt associated with eating less than stellar. But undesirable was what somebody commented. She talked about how Weight Watchers deemed thing undesirable. And I thought that was a great word. And I need to start using that word. The foods that they've deemed undesirable make them feel like a sin, And I don't like that. It was Hi, Gracie Lou. The thing that really gets me is that people think saturated fat will clog your arteries because saturated fat is solid at room temperature, except your body is above room temperature. Yeah, that's true. I think it really comes down to what motivates you. Trying to be creative and staying in points, or being completely free to eat what you want, which can be overwhelming for some. That's exactly true. That's exactly true. There's someone in the Patreon who's still double tracking and doing W20s and making sure they get their macros, and it works well. Exactly. 110%. And she knows, I hope she knows, like, my opinion of the plan has nothing against her. As somebody who has coached her, I'm thrilled to see how she's utilizing the new plan to hit the goals that I originally set for her. And it's working well for her because there's something about the plan that triggers the right things in her brain that counting calories and macros alone did not. So for her, but she has her tracker out and is double tracking to make sure she hits the goals I set for her. Wow. Making, hey, I don't know who's here. Hold, please. BRB. Who is here? Gracie. Gracie, stop. Sit. 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 Come here. Stop. Stop. Oh, look at the package. Cool. We'll worry about that later. See? No one's here. No one's here. Oh my goodness. There's fuzz on the floor. The dog's freaking out, y'all. We're back. Okay. Okay. There we go. Now we gotta brace her for a little bit, because if you don't show her that nobody's outside, she's gonna think someone's there and bark for 10 minutes. So, all right, Miss Gracie, there we go. So yes, I agree. For me, something as simple as having chicken breast be 0 points, but chicken thighs costing me 5 is enough to make me feel restricted. Yeah. So everybody's different. Everyone is different, and that's fine. Are you good? Can I let you go? Can I let you go? Are you going to stay quiet? Are you going to be good? Taking bets. Does she bark as soon as I let her go? You be good. We'll see. I interviewed Samantha last night, and she made a transition from conquer cravings to calorie command. This is I Track Bites, for those of you who don't know. If someone doesn't want to track calories, do you think this plan would be good to start with? The new one, like the new WW plan? I mean, yes, I think it would be good. The flaw in the plan is how it triggers people to undereat. So I think personally, if you're somebody who can embrace, which is hilarious because this is totally contrary to the reason you're not losing weight on WW Freestyle video. And you want to know what's interesting? Here, let me be fully transparent here. Let me be fully transparent here. Back when I wasn't losing weight on Weight Watchers Freestyle, what I did not know is that my metabolism had adapted to the lower calories, right? I did not know that. I didn't know metabolic adaptation was a thing at the time. This was years ago. And like we all say, what if I knew then what I knew now? But if you think about my weight loss trajectory for a second, when I started to lose weight for good on Points Plus, right? I was at my highest weight and had not been dieting for at least a year. I lost some weight in college, gained it back like a period of a year and a half or something like that, right? So like my first real gung-ho experience. I got down to goal by eating in Points Plus for a year and a half, when you should really only be in a calorie deficit, especially one that dramatic, for 16 weeks. I was in it for a year and a half. Then, maintenance rules on Weight Watchers dictate you add 6 points to your daily, and that's your maintenance. And so I did that, and then the next week I gained like 3 pounds. And of course, skinny little me flipped out, and I was like, obviously this is the wrong choice. Here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm just going to keep with my weight loss points and be a little bit more lax about it. And so I literally spent the next year and a half eating the same number of points that I was doing to lose, with like an additional dessert here and there, things like that. And what happened? I maintained my weight on weight loss points. I maintained my weight. Why? Because over that 3-year period of time, my metabolism was adapting to the fact that I was probably only feeding it somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 calories. So of course, when Smart Points happened and took me a while to adjust to that, and then Freestyle happened. Of course, when I started to eat more food, a probably totally reasonable amount of food that probably totaled 1,600 to 1,700 calories, like totally reasonable. Of course, I gained weight. Of course, I thought I was eating too much for my body. Of course, I thought there were too many calories and that I was overdoing it. I did not know that my metabolism had adapted to a lower number. I did not know. And so for me, overeating was very easy because overeating was at a very low calorie number. You know what I'm saying? So now, educated as I am, I'm once I complete my test, I will have 4 different certifications in nutrition, you guys. 4. Um, Educated as I am, I now know what happened. I can look back at poor old 2012, 2013 Brianna and go, "Oh my gosh, look at what you did to yourself." And because it took me years and years and years of trying to eat as low as possible. Alyssa said she was looking at some of my old videos and I was doing what I eat in a day and 1,200 calories. So even when I had reverted to calorie counting, my goal was still 1,200 calories. Like I was keeping myself down there. And that was the problem. That was the problem. And so now, knowing what I know now, the odds are you're probably still under eating if you are if getting rid of your daily points or not eating enough 0 points foods is triggering to you. Like I said, if I would have stopped after I ran out of my dailies, I would have been 200 calories under my goal and under my BMR. So less than I would have been 100 calories under my BMR, 200 calories under my goal. So, you know, you know what I'm saying? Since conquer craving. So all that to say, like the plan will work, but I feel like it needs to be explicitly clear. I honestly think at least to start while you get into the groove, because once you get into the groove, you kind of get into this routine of I eat all like this is the food I eat, this is the whatever, like you have like the same like weekly meal plan like 1 week is chicken week, 1 week, whatever. I would always be in a routine. I would have go to lunches, go to breakfasts, go to dinners, whatever. I think it would behoove people to double track while they're establishing what their go tos are and to understand, to be able to be like, oh, this is how. Gracie. I don't even know what she's looking at this time. So, So, it would be for educational purposes. It is important. Gracie, come here. Come. Grumpy old lady. She's boofing as she walks away because she's irritated. What a putz. Gracie, that's enough. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Let's see if she actually comes. I lost my train of thought. Stupid dog. It would behoove you to track your calories while you're establishing that routine so you understand, okay, here I'm eating a reasonable number of calories, I'm getting a reasonable amount of protein, and it is this many points. And then you can leave the tracking aside and go to just doing the new WW plan. You can do it. Or it would be really smart, and this is not what Weight Watchers wants you to do, if people periodized their nutrition. If they've said, I'm going to start on this date and end on this date and only go for 16 weeks, 20 weeks, and then stop, and then do the appropriate diet break, do an appropriate reverse diet, do maintenance. And like, if they actually did it that way, if they periodized their nutrition the way they should, then it would work just fine. It would prevent metabolic adaptation. It would be fine. But they don't. People join and then stick with it for years at a time. And like me, mess up their metabolism in the process. That would be kind of an experiment. Go through each of the iTrack Bites plans, see if you can stay on track with your calories, macros on Conquer Cravings, carb conscious, sugar smart, and Better Balance. I did do that just for myself. I did it on Better Balance one day, and it was fine. I was able to get to 1,800 calories, no problem. But again, it was like, let me have a whole cup of rice and 5 ounces of chicken and no fun food. Like it was still like, ugh. But I was able to do it. It just wasn't fun, but I was able to do it. First day on Conquer Cravings, I went to an outing, ate 68 points, which took all my weeklies and left 7, but made me eat 2753 calories that day. Next day, I stayed in my 40 points and put me at 1869, which is a solid number, and that's fine. Jay, I don't know what your BMR is. I feel like we've discussed it before, but as a male, yours is going to be higher than the females that are on the chat. But one day ain't gonna kill you. If you ate 2,700 calories and the next day you clock in below your BMR, your body's gonna be fine with that, you know? Um, this was last year, and yes, it was a bit of clickbait after having an off day, but I'm pretty sure your calorie goal up until recently was still below your BMR. Yeah, my BMR is like 1620 or something like that. So knowing that, I can't remember the exact number, but let's say it's 1620. It's somewhere in there. My BMR is 1620, which means that even in my cut that I started at the beginning of this year in February, where my goal was 1600 to 1700 calories, that was too low. Too low. I needed to have it be like 1700 to 1800 calories for it to even be feasible. I did not know about the BMR thing, which is hilarious because at that time, didn't I have my precision nutrition certification? I sure did. So here in macro mentorship, I'm learning even more about how the body works in current up-to-date nutritional information. Um, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. So now, knowing what I know now, my cut calories will probably be somewhere around 1750, 1780, something like that, maybe 1800. And we'll see what happens after spending literally 8 months trying to not lose weight. WW works, but the price you pay, starvation. Kim, I know. Not necessarily. I ate plenty of calories and smart points. I know I was the odd one. Yeah, I love that was your experience, Lissa, but you are the oddball here. That is not what traditionally happens. I think like 2,500. When you talked about BMR, my mind was blown. Yeah, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. And like time after time after time, and I'm not just telling you this because it's what I'm learning in my certification. I've put it in practice time and time and time and time again, and it works. My one of my star fat loss clients who dropped quite a bit of weight, at a steady pace while she was with me. I upped her calories. I upped her calories to above her BMR, and she continued to lose. She lost better. She lost faster, and it was great. Both of my sisters, um, talked about my one sister had weight loss surgery, so of course with that comes an dramatically low calorie diet. But after 2 years, her metabolism has adapted. She's like, "What do I do next? My weight hasn't moved." Blah 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 blah. So I calculated her BMR and stuff for her, and told her to eat above this number, and I gave her what I would give my fat loss clients, right? And lo and behold, she literally did it for a week, and the scale moved for the first time in several weeks. And then my other sister, who has not had weight loss surgery or anything, but is actively trying to lose weight, I gave her numbers to begin with. And all the pool guys here, Gracie's going to start barking. We're going to have to cut this off soon because the dog is going to lose her mind. But I gave her numbers somewhere around 1,800 calories or something like that. Or maybe that was her BMR. I can't remember the numbers I gave her, but I gave her numbers. And then she checks in with me every once in a while and tells me how she's doing. And then she's like, "I haven't lost in like 3 weeks, blah, 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 blah." And she goes, "And I'm even clocking in under my calories." And I was like, "How many under your calories?" Do I know my dog? Gracie! All because the pool guy is out there doing his job. All because the pool guy's out there doing his job. Gracie, come here. She walks away, still mad. She literally just walked into the kitchen, away from the window, can't even see the guy anymore. Gracie! We're going to have to cut this off soon because dogs make me crazy. Come here. Come. Gracie. Gracie. Come. 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 She's slowly moseying. Come. Come right here. Come here. No, come here. Come. Nope. Come here. Come by mama. Yeah. we're going to hold you and we're going to hold you away from the door. There we go. Okay, now you can't see what's happening. So my sister was under eating and like pretty dramatically. And I was like, eat over 1,800 calories this week. Do it. And she texted me on Wednesday and she's like, I lost 2 pounds. You're welcome. Like it's time and time and time again. It is proven to work, which is why I talk about it so much, you know? Da, da, da. Nope. Nope. I suppose if you utilize a decent amount of 0 point foods, that's true. I have a hard time with that after about 6 months. What's interesting is that my cut calories were the same as yours, but at least it was appropriate for me. I only had fruit and veggies as my 0 point foods, but I bought into a WW's message of avoiding sugar and eating high protein. Your years, Gracine, is going nuts. Yeah, sorry about that. Anybody who has a dog. Oh gosh. Because I don't know what she's saying, but if she was angry, she definitely triggered other dogs that heard that. Plenty of calories, but with a side of disordered eating. Yeah. Yeah, so that's that. Anyway, I didn't mean to be on an entire live stream about WW since I just did this video that is apparently superbly controversial and offensive to some people. I think it's because many people use point tracking because they see a dramatic loss at first and they want it to be quick. Yeah, exactly. Who cares if it takes 2 years? And that is my mindset for this going forward. So I was talking to who was I talking? Oh, I was talking to my mother-in-law about this last night about like the new approach and how here's how it's going to work for me. Like you could spin your wheels for 3 years and spend half the time wondering why you're not losing. No, ma'am. And I know, nope, you're gonna stay here. She has such an attitude. Which you will hear. You will hear Gracie's grumpy attitude in the vlog that I'm uploading soon. But so like the plan is, right? My plan using the full cycle of nutritional periodization. Let me know if you want a whole video on what that means. But I will have a 16-week cut. I will have a diet break while I am on my cruise. I will have another 16-week cut or 12 to 16 weeks, depending on where I'm at and how my body responds. And then, regardless of how much weight I lose, I'm done. I stop. I reverse diet. I hang out in maintenance for an extended period of time again to refresh my metabolism, make sure everything is still roaring and everything. And then, if and only if I want to, if I only lose like 20 pounds during that time and my goal is to lose 30 or 35, next year, like the following year, 2023, I can do that whole cycle again. But of the 52 weeks in the year, I will only spend a maximum of about 32 of them in actual cut mode. And that's all part of the cycle. That's part of it. The breaks and everything are very, very important. They are integral parts of the entire weight loss journey, especially when it comes to keeping the weight off for good. I'm interested in what you are doing. Where do I look to find info for starting? You can go to divaandthedivine.com/coaching. That talks a little bit about what I do, and the application is there. And it's a great time to apply because I have a sale going on right now. Where if you pay in full for your 3-month, your 12-week stint, you get $100 off, which is a big deal. So I do have a couple of people who have already applied for that. So spots are filling up pretty quickly. But if you're interested in that, definitely get your application in because you have to have your application in, when did I say? Like the 29th or something like that. Thank you, Lissa. But so that whole cycle is a very, very important part of it, you know? And now I'm working on healing all the mental and emotional damage WW's done to me. Yeah. And that's what it was for me too. Like I went back to the girl, like I said in the video, who carried around a Ziploc bag full of multigrain Cheerios, totaling no more than 200 calories that I would snack on all morning because it was only a couple points, And I felt that again. And I was like, that's not okay. I'm sorry, you're stuck here. So there's that. If anyone has any other questions about that, let me know. One thing I did want to do though, and this will be in the upcoming blog too, I got the rest of my Cultivate What Matters package. And in it, I have the 100 intentional action ideas for faith and the 100 intentional action ideas for wellness. And I thought It might be fun for the live streams to pull one out. Every time I do a live stream, I'm going to pull one of these out, one of the morning live streams, and pick an action step for us all to do today. Kind of wish I knew about the concept of diet breaks. Oh, I know. You're welcome, Connie. So let's do a faith card, shall we? I just have to pick one from here we go. Today's faith action step. Do you feel close? Do you feel close to God in your current season? Write down a few thoughts on how you feel about your faith life right now. So that is your faith action step for the day, my friends. Write down a few thoughts on your faith relationship right now and how you feel about it. And then our wellness one for the day is a soul card. So they have mind, body, and soul in this. Your soul card. Create a wind down playlist. Oh, I love that. Turn it on as a signal to your body, mind, and soul that it is time to rest and be restored. I like that. So you have like an evening playlist that you put on like as you're getting ready for bed and things like that. That would be really, really nice. So there you go. Create a playlist and write down a little bit how you feel on your current place on your faith journey. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything that they want to chat about, touch on real quick? I think it'll be fun to pop me open and let's see some progress. I was reading the other side of the box. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I still have to sit here and hold Gracie because the guy is right outside the big window. I have one of those for my 2 to 4 p.m. I love it. Hey, I know. There's a guy there. I know. It's okay. Such an attitude. Anyway, on that note, my friends, also thank you all for the thumbs up. I didn't see how many there were. Thank you. I'm going to take grumpy gills and go here. But thank you for hanging out. This was fun. I plan on doing this week and next week. They will not be consistent, but after Thanksgiving, then my goal is to do them every day, either around 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern time up until the week of Christmas. That's going to be my goal. We'll have morning coffee chats. Maybe it'll only be half an hour or so, but we'll do it every day. So you can mark your calendars and you can come join me. It'll be the morning show. And yeah, so that'll be fun. Thank you guys for hanging out. And I will talk to you all very, very soon.